absolute amazing artist that I've been following my whole career already. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Easter feast, and I'm super happy that Musti is going to be joining us tonight. It's going to be absolutely amazing, and can't wait to share some wisdom with him and get some insights about his career. So he's already joined us, so I'm going to get him on. So what I would like you guys to do is send us your questions below, everything that you want to know. Just don't hesitate to write everything down. We are going to answer them in between. Okay, so are you guys ready for a good hour of proper conversation? Then here we go. Inviting Musti right now. Musti is in the
Hey,
house. Hey, my
alles
friend.
gut?
How you doing? Yeah,
I'm good. I'm very good. Good to see you.
good to see you. Well, we are not so far apart at the moment, I have to say. I'm in Berlin and you are in Hanover.
Yeah, which is by train, it's not even 1.5 hours, so that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I actually yes, when I came here 2 days ago, I was actually passing Hanover, and I said I should give Moose a call and come.
Yeah, you should have come by for a confined coffee or something.
Yeah, we will. I'll come back to that when I drive back home in a week or so.
Super.
Yeah.
Do that,
So
please. Anytime. Seriously.
yeah, of course, would love to. So first of all, thank you for taking this beautiful hour to
Sure.
join us and share a little bit of wisdom with us. As I said before, on our talks, that you've been one of those artists that have actually influenced my musical journey like no other. And yeah, I think I have a bunch of records. I think I have like 30 records of you. So,
Wow.
well, I started collecting them from day one. So that's so you are actually a very special person that I'm super happy to have on board tonight. So,
So you bought Horny 30 times?
well, I mean, now let me edit. So hold on a second. So, do you know this one?
Oh shit! Yeah, great man. Wow. There was like a special. I think it was like a Winter Music Conference white label, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And you know what? And that is so now that we're at it, you are directly starting with the thing that I was thinking about as well, because that Horny record
Yeah.
that started off with a complete different approach. It was a complete instrumental before, right?
Yes.
So and that's actually the EP that I got my hands on. So and it actually had like two of my most favorite tracks on there. On the one side you had Horny, and on the other side you had Everybody.
Oh, cool.
You
Very
know?
cool.
So
Yeah.
and I was actually listening to Everybody in the car today, just going a little bit down memory lane. And
Nice.
honestly, dude, that is a record that would be, if you would have released it today, it would be perfect. It would fit the sound absolutely.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I have to dig it out again. And I mean, it's. I think what every artist wants to achieve anyway, that he does something at one point which is still relevant years later. So if you say that to me, I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah, 100%, man. And then, it got to a different point, which is, hold on one second. Well, then I found this one.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Musti versus Hot and Juicy. So Hot and Juicy, um, was that the duo that have been singing on it, or what was Hot and Juicy?
Let me because you've been just saying a lot of stuff, which I need to tell you guys in detail actually.
Yeah, well, go for it, man. I
Yeah.
can't
So
wait.
so basically, I think it was beginning of '97 or middle of '97 or something.
Yeah,
I had a very productive weekend. I was remixing, I think, three like major acts, and one of the major acts was Michael Jackson.
yeah.
And I was doing a remix for Ghosts.
Oh, yeah,
Great track.
yeah, yeah.
So and if you know my old stuff, definitely. I mean, I still do it every now and then, but I used to always deliver like more than just one remix. Used to do like a club mix, a a dub mix, a radio mix, a down tempo mix, whatever. So I did like 3 mixes on the Michael Jackson, and the 4th mix I was working on was a dub version.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
but then since I'm always late for delivery, basically the courier was already waiting for me to give him the DAT cassette to bring to the label. And then I said, like, you know what, sod it, I'm not gonna deliver the dub mix. Michael should be happy with 3 mixes. And then this mix I basically kept for myself and said, like, oh, maybe one day, whatever. And that's the instrumental of Horny, actually. So that was back then. I basically, it was like really cool. If you listen to the main club mix of Michael Jackson Goes, you can tell it's the same beats of Horny. So it's basically like a. So I did that, and it blew up. At one point, I know, actually, let me tell you. Month later, Roger Sanchez was in my studio, so we were like working. I had him over for a DJ gig, and we're like going through old like demos and stuff. So I played him that, and he completely fainted. He said, like, "Oh my God, what is this? You need to release it." And then I said, "All right, let's do it." And I did a vinyl. You have the first edition of it, and it flew. Completely like we sold. I think I don't know, over 100,000 of it, like on vinyl. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
And obviously then, people started on a major level, or not even major, but like different labels were like knocking on my door saying like, look, we want to license it. And I got like, hang on. So those guys that want to license an instrumental record, let me at least try to put a song on it. And that's, where we start to work with like singers. First with Inaya Day, we recorded the hook line with her. And then I got like Emma Lanford and this other lady, Nadine, on it. And they were basically hot and juicy, just like to answer your question.
Okay, so there you go. There you have a little bit of background info about how this song came to life. Well, and also you've been working with Inaya several times on several occasions. And for me, because we are talking about top liner singers, and I've worked with her on a couple of things as well, did a couple of remixes for her. She's like so unbelievable talented, and her voice is so incredible. So I just wanted to say, especially when you come to top liners and singers, if you have a good singer, you don't per se have a good top liner. That's what a lot of people are mistaken
True.
with, right?
True.
So, you can have you probably see a vocalist as a featured artist.
Hey, baby. Sorry.
Your girl is here.
Yeah.
but
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. You can throw in anything that you want right here. If you see someone you're happy about, just say hello. It's absolutely fine.
Cool.
So we can do everything. So and that's something that I think is something really important. We talked about stuff like this in earlier sessions as well. That it's really hard to find someone who is a good vocalist and at the same time a good top liner.
But you know what, Eddie?
What?
I think that's exactly where a producer comes into play.
Should.
It should, or if it all like works or gels together, then you can basically sometimes you can use a singer as an instrument, and you can say like, look, I would play the piano like that, and you play the singer like that. You can really do that, and then you kind of like, if you bounce back ideas, you can come up with a top line or something like together, which is really good, because Inaya is a very good example because she's so amazing. She's like a one-man like vocal machine. We did back then, when we still worked on tape, when we did Keep Pushing, for instance, I recorded all the vocals on tape machine. And then I had to, I had to switch the track so fast because she was like, all right, another harmony here, another harmony there, worked like super good. But Inaya, obviously, if you let her loose, she's like amazing. She can do a lot of like crazy like riffing and everything, which sometimes for a track is too much. Yeah. So you have to kind of like tame her, and then tell her exactly, okay, this is a spot you can do something, or you just record a bunch of stuff and then filter out later. But it's a very good point, actually. So sometimes I think the producer still should be confident enough to say like, look, I really like it, but a little bit too much here, and or try it this way.
That's absolutely right, and that's why, for example,
Nadima.
Hi.
Great people watching here. Super.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, well, for me, I always, it's probably the same with you. If you are doing like sessions with singers, vocalists, you like to do them together because you can take them by the hand and guide them into a direction that you think fits the track perfectly. Because like most of the people that send out tracks get a vocal back and then are not really happy with it, and that's a very common problem that a lot of people that ask me about how do we get the right top line from a singer, because everything that I get doesn't feel the way I want it to. Then I always say, well, jump on a Zoom call, because that's the only thing that you can do nowadays. Yeah, but jump on a Zoom call, do a session together, and write stuff together. You know, because then you can actually and just tell her exactly what you're looking after. You know, just because she might be okay, she should be okay with you saying, well, I didn't like that so much, can we change that a little bit, or reduce that a little bit, especially when you're, I mean, Inaya, she's coming from gospel, you know, so, and they are all about like, "Whoa," the big machines, you know,
Yeah.
guns blazing, you know.
Yeah, but Inaya again. I mean, I don't know if she's watching, but hey, Inaya, anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I mean, she's really an exceptional singer, and the thing is with her, she's so experienced.
yeah, that's
You
true.
know, so and you can tell her straight away, and she gets it straight away. If you say like, look, I want a little like brandy in here, you know, she knows
Mhm.
exactly, you know, what to, you know. I mean, the last song I did with her was Rock the Mic, which came out on Glitterbox.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
kind of this hip house, kind of disco kind of thing. And I said, look, you know, I mean, and I had this hook line, and we kind of like, we worked remotely. You know, I sent her the stuff to New York, she sent it back,
Yeah,
and then we spoke. I said, Inaya, you know, do you remember this thing? I think it was this R&B group from the 90s called Total. And I said, I want that vibe. And she totally got it, you know, and she
really.
knows, you know, I mean, she knows it.
She's a machine. She's a
Yeah, big
machine.
time.
So, for the people that have
Hi, Jule.
uh, and for all the people that don't know Mus T very well, or the music that he has been doing, especially from the younger generations, I think it's super important, because that's also why we're doing this. You know, this Refine Production, the company that I'm doing, and also these Music Monday talks are there to give people a little, take them a little bit by the hand, give them a little bit of education if they want to. You know, so and guide them a little bit through the things that are doable and people should probably avoid, because we've made mistakes that didn't end up that well. We all made mistakes, you know, or our during our careers, and this is actually what this is also about, giving them a little bit of guidance. How did you keep so steady in your career? And that's also something we are going to talk about. We are just at the very early stage of this Music Monday talk, and one thing that is really important for me is to know, how have you been able to keep on top of the game all these years, because you've been doing it for more than 30 years now, this whole thing.
Mhm.
So that's
Yes, I mean, if,
yeah,
if 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 I think about it, I mean, yeah, I mean, professionally, it's been like 30 years.
yeah.
I know I look younger, but
You look absolutely stunning.
I'm joking. But man, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, you know, there's no master plan. You know, I have to say, you know, people sometimes expect, you know, all this question, you know, which you get, which every now and then comes up with, like, you know, what's your like 5-year plan? You know, where you want to be in 5 years or 10 years
Yeah,
or something like that. You know, obviously always, you know, music, that's for sure, but there was no like big master plan saying like, look, I want to be here and whatever and blah blah blah. I just loved doing music, and since I loved it, you know, I worked like a horse, because you know, when you love something, then you it doesn't feel like work, you know. So that's basically my motivation, you know. And then at one point, you know, the work pays off, because if you work a lot on a if you do a lot of work on a very high quality standard, then people notice you at one point, you know. And that was all basically pre-internet. uh, which was amazing, because obviously, you know, and you, I mean, you know, the 90s, Eddie. We
Yeah.
basically did some stuff, and then basically most of the time it was released on vinyl. CD came later, and then month later you get the feedback. You know, you release something, and then you get, you know, people write you a fax from America a month later saying like, look, this is in some charts over here or whatever. So it's like crazy, which is great, because it didn't distract you from what you were doing.
That's
I mean,
true.
nowadays you do a lot of stuff and you get instant feedback, and you're always on this kind of, you know, I mean, even now, I mean, I love it to interact, and, you know, it's fantastic. But sometimes it's like overwhelming. You get all these like people, you know, giving you feedback and giving you hearts and thumbs up and all that stuff. And it's sometimes it takes you away, you know, from stuff, to be honest. So, but to answer your question, I don't know. I mean, I just love what I'm doing, and I was lucky. And that's my biggest wish for every artist, that at one point that artist has some success, in which form it may be, because that success, first of all, maybe gives you the basis to continue what you love and continue what you're doing. But it's like the best motivation you can have, apart from loving what you do. But at one point, even if it's after 1 year or after 10 years, doesn't matter. You need some success, some little or big or whatever. It's very important. And I was lucky enough to have a couple of these little successes down the line. So,
And that's the important thing. I love what you just said, because that is exactly how you should see this. You know, it's and that's actually I had 2 weeks ago I had the chat with Lebeck Luke, that you probably also know from
sure,
years back. You know, and it's crazy how he actually started and what scene he was actually doing here, the Mongoloids, on Strictly, with all these people, Junior Sanchez and all these people. He's been working there as one of those European guys that was in that circle. You know what I mean? So
sure,
that is like super, super interesting. And we've been talking about stuff like this, like having an end goal in your head, like a vision. I want to achieve that someday. It's great to have a goal like that. But as you said, you need some sort of little successes in between. And that's
right,
why we said it's also, that's something that I misread back then, you know, because I've been if we would have the knowledge that we have now, we would have gone a total different road, I guess.
probably, yeah,
but
probably,
but what I want to say is, like we said on the chat, it's like those little, you have to be aware. That's the thing. You have to be aware of those little successes. It's micro steps that you are doing. And these are the successes, and these are the successes you should be enjoying. And these will feed your passion and give you make you strive for more and more, for excellence. It's just something
definitely,
that you know, it's just being in touch with, or getting a feedback from someone that is at a stage that you want to be at, for example, because that's especially also for networking, that's a really important thing. You as a beginner feel like, oh, I don't know nobody, I don't know anyone, I don't have what it takes, and I don't know who to reach out to, and I'm sending emails getting no responses, like cold contact and all that kind of stuff. And now if you are getting in touch with someone that is already at the level where you want to be, that is something that is so much, that is golden, you know, something like that. And that
sure,
is something, and that is actually one positive step already. Like, you know, that's
yeah,
where, like Junior Vasquez, Sanchez said, it's just like, it's like a tree. You know what I mean? Your career is a little bit like a tree. You
yeah,
are
that's right,
new roots, and
true.
new connections are evolving, and that's actually what you should keep in mind and be aware about it.
Yeah, and the analogy with the tree actually is very right, because the tree grows, obviously it grows up, but it
Mhm.
grows to the sides as well, you know,
Yes.
which is like, you know, which is a slow route, you know, which is fine, because you can always go like that. The only way is up, like Jup, you know, but it's a little bit like that. And what you were saying, you know, it's, I have this theory, you know, if you give something out to the world, you know, whether it's an email to somebody, even if they don't respond, but they might have read your name, you know, they might have
Yes.
read the email, and it's going to have its place in their brain somewhere. So it's always a good thing, you know. Don't get on people's you know, don't get on people's nerves, but it's no big deal to write even Pharrell an email. Why not? Just say, hey, I like you. Here's my track. If you like it, dig it. Call me back. Would be great. And if he reads it, he's going to be, hey, that was like Björn from Hamburg. I remember that guy. Probably 10 years later. You never know.
Exactly, and that's something that is really important as well. Boldness. Boldness. You have to be bold as an artist as well. You don't think about can't do that. What if this is not good enough or stuff? You just have to say go for it. What do you have to lose? Nothing. So
True.
that's something that is really important because that's what I've been experiencing with all the people we've been working with. Is a lot of um, giving them positive thoughts, giving them positive thoughts. And also, if the people are not at the stage yet where they are touring like a beast, have those great successes in terms of releases, records labels they dreamed about releasing of, but if they keep that positive thought in your head, and that's what I've been preaching a lot because I've made those mistakes. I've been thinking the other way, I've been thinking like in a more negative way, and that's also one part in my career where I nearly lost it. But people that have been following me here already know about this story. So but that was just because I fell a little bit out of balance, so because I wasn't keeping the balance of that you need in your life, those pillars, these pillars of family, friends, health, inspiration, just to give you a great balance in your life. And these are all very important parts,
True, but that's maybe a little later down the line, no? Because if you speak about motivation, positivity, I mean, I found that I was mega motivated, mega positive when I started, and even like at the beginning. So I'm not even sure if somebody's watching who can share their experience, but the doubts and the kind of like, ooh, am I good enough? Or if you that comes later. That comes later, because at the beginning, I think a lot of people are very kind of like, all right, I really want to know this.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Do you have any other experience or any other?
Well, for me, I was always quite a doubtful person, I have to admit.
Okay, that's a personality thing, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of people out there. I know that a lot of people that haven't did get in touch with us have, most of them have that issue that they are close to giving up. Because they don't get anywhere.
Is that a general thing, or is it because of the current situation?
Well, it's more like a general thing, but it has different roots. Some of them are frustrated because they can't get their records signed. Some are frustrated because they can't get their records finished or don't have their ideas. But most of them are just, all of them have one thing in common, which is like frustration that leads them to nearly stop doing what they love because they are in it with all their heart. That's
Sure.
something, imagine you would do something that that is fulfilling you completely. That's you're finishing your record and you're absolutely in love with it, and this is you're so proud of this record, and nobody wants to sign it, or it doesn't give the love back.
I mean that I know, but to be honest, that's probably, or what I want to say is basically I think there's a solution to everything. That thing, that situation we had, it was beginning of the 90s. It was like 92, 93. We were in love with soulful house music, from New York, whatever. And being based in Germany, where techno was like super present, Euro was present, trance was present. It was very hard. So we decided to do our own label. That was our solution. We said, like, we are doing Peppermint Jam records, so we can release, because nobody else wanted our music. And then slowly we did it and we worked to it. But I'm saying we. So that's another part of the solution for a lot of problems is teamwork. That's another thing.
You Agreed completely. Yeah. Can you go on? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's something. I mean, I love the potential which is inside an individual. You know, it's like a one man show. That's amazing. But you know, in a team, if you say like, look, I'm the artist, I can do the beats, I can do the chords, I can write song, great. But then if you say like, look, but I know this, and that's today's in today's world, it's way easier than it used to be, because you can really via Instagram say like, look, who's doing my artwork? Hey, you know, you guy from Berlin, you know, I love your stuff. What about, can we do a collab? You know, a singer from London, whatever. So the connection possibilities are way easier nowadays, and that's a team. You know, that's a team right there. You know, you don't have to be a big setup. It's just like where you say like, look, you know, I'm good in what I do, but maybe there's somebody else who can be better in that department, or mastering or production or whatever. You know what I mean? And then, you know, look for like-minded people. It's the way, in my opinion.
And this is worth gold. What you've just been saying is worth gold. And everybody who's listening, who's in that situation where he can't finds himself in a one-way road or hitting a brick wall, write this down what Moose just said. This is just the most essential thing as well, to get, you know, new perspectives, get out of that box that you've been in, get other people on board that take you into other directions, can help you out. You know, it's all a give and take. Everybody has a piece to add to the puzzle, you know. So, and only good things can come out of collaborations on the music side, but also collaboration in music, marketing, what have you, graphics, all that kind of stuff, as Moose said. So I think that is super crucial.
Yeah, and speak to people, get try to get feedback, or at least conversations. I mean, like we do, you know, you can do that, you know, you can do that nowadays. You can speak to so many people. And there's this great example of Simon Dunmore. He's the owner of Defected. You know, he's doing that for a long time now. And there's this great example of this young kid, um, the age of 16 or 17, 16, I think, sending him demos.
Mhm.
And then he just wrote back with a promo package, you know, sent him records back, and wrote back to the kids, said like, look, great stuff, it's just not for us. And they got vibing. And this young kid was Calvin Harris. You know, yeah, exactly. So, you know, and now Calvin, like I think last year or 2 years ago, he put out a record on Defected, you know, which with Steve Lacy, which was amazing. But you see, you know, probably if Simon wouldn't have done it, or Calvin wouldn't have the guts to write to Simon, then probably Calvin would have given up. I don't know, probably not. But you know, and that's amazing, you know.
But and I think that is something really important as well, that people, it's when you've been at the point of being an artist that nobody is responding to, you're sending out emails, a ton of emails, and I think a lot of people can relate. Moose, you probably can relate as well. You're sending out a lot of music to people without getting responses, and then it's just great to at least get a no, not for us email. You know, so I think that is really good that people send those kind of emails. You know, and I think that's important as well. And like you said with the Calvin, I think Simon Dunmore posted that email or that letter. That
Yeah,
there were no
exactly.
emails back then. That's the thing, you know. There were no emails and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
no, it was a proper letter. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a proper letter, and that's I think, what was it? The Love Generator stuff, right? That he put out
yeah,
on Defected. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, you've known Defected all your life, probably since it was born. You've known Simon Dunbar probably since AMPM and Defected and all
He
those.
he signed Horny for AMPM back then. So he was my
Yeah.
English label for Horny, basically.
So yeah, but that's crazy. And you know what? So I have to throw that one out now. So we've just talked about the promo that you've done for my
Yeah,
new. So this had actually Horny, the instrumental, on there. Okay, and it had everybody on there. And then you had, this one was the first one, right? This Musti versus was Hot and Juicy. Yeah, that was the second one.
yeah.
And then you also had this one.
Oh yeah, that's really special. Wow. I mean, I don't even have that anymore, man. That's really cool. It's
I can
beautiful.
sell it to you.
No, keep it. I love you having it.
Yeah, and the Bad Boy record, dude.
Cool, huh?
Yeah. You know what? And also this one. Can you see that? No.
Yes.
It's Swing City Everybody.
Yes.
With our original instrumental Nelson Midnight Jazz Pass and De La Bass on
Yeah.
that. 1996. And I bought that for 17 Deutsche Mark. And I have another sexy face of MOUSSE. You see that?
Oh wow. Oh, is that the American pressing?
Yes, that's the.
I think that's a Sony pressing. Yeah.
Exactly, that's the Sony pressing. What do you say about that?
A little story.
Yeah,
the you know the guy who signed Horny in the US?
No.
Rick Rubin.
Rick Rubin doesn't ring a bell. Who's Rick Rubin?
Oh man, it should ring a bell. You have to do your homework. It's the biggest producer out there. He's like, he did Def Jam. He produced. He produced. What's his face? The country megastar. What's the guy's name? Johnny Cash. All that.
Really?
Amazing. He was doing this label called American Records for Sony, and he signed Horny. He really liked the song, but it was so hard to get radio play in America because of the lyric.
Yeah. Okay.
So we got a little play in New York, Miami, LA, all the cool cities. And what the guys did, Rick Rubin and George Akulius, they put it on the South Park compilation.
What?
On South Park, South Park? Yeah. So it was on that compilation, and it actually featured in the movie. So that was our breakthrough. We sold a lot of records just because of that. Yes. No, serious.
Well,
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of love right here. Eddie doesn't know Rick Rubin. Right? Yeah, well, these Music Mondays are educational for me as well, guys. So bear with me that I don't know everyone, So, but yeah, you see, you and I, we can go on for hours and hours. So what I was really thinking about is, well, you've been Grammy nominated. For what remix was that?
First of all, I want to say to that, because if you ask, what is your goal in like 5 years, whatever, for me, that Grammy nomination, it really came out of the blue. I didn't even, I was on holidays, somewhere, and my friend Matthias from New York, he just wrote me literally a fax, back then in '98, say like, look, man, you're Grammy nominated. I'm like, no, you're kidding me, I couldn't even, you don't know, because nowadays, again, you would get a call or email or whatever. Anyway, it was the first time the Grammy committee, they did this category Best Remix, and that was in '98. And back then, you had to basically submit not only one remix, you have to submit 5 remixes. Yeah. So I was nominated alongside Frankie Knuckles, David Morales, Armand. Was it Todd? I think Todd and myself. We were the 5 guys basically who were nominated for Best Remix. And my remixes were, for instance, for NSB, Can I Get a Witness? My Simply Red remix. Sorry?
What a record. Can I get a witness?
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my son is watching. Hey, Saul. I love you. Hey, Saul.
Great. So, honestly, man, you have done so many amazing remixes, and also remix. So you see, I brought a couple of remixes. One of the most favorite remixes, of course, Quincy Jones Stomp.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. And of course,
which one is that?
Voices of
Life. Oh, cool, very cool.
Love. The word is love. That was AM/PM as well, right? So
yeah, I think not the original, but I think AM/PM picked it up at one point. Yeah.
But honestly, dude, that was like all the things that you have done.
Those days, man. Those days.
And then, of course, Come on, get up, everybody! Come on, get up, everybody! You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
what a record, man!
Yeah.
Incredible. So Byron Stingley and is they are doing this thing again, right?
Yeah, I think they revived with Marshall Jefferson. They revived 10 City,
Yes.
which is amazing. So and the great thing is with Byron is because he has this falsetto voice. He really stands out. He sounds like nobody else. So that's amazing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I always loved his stuff. So as we are talking about remixes, so I have another couple of remixes that I've played to death. You know,
Oh, cool.
does
Yeah.
that ring a bell, my friend?
Yes.
Yeah, just for street.
Lift every voice. Yeah.
Every voice. What a record.
Thank you, man. Oh, cool. Very cool.
Pacify.
Woohoo!
Woo! And okay, so now we are coming to that remix that I think blew everything completely up.
Yes.
So I think this is a point where you have to go and tell us a little story about your unbelievable Sing It Back remix for Moloko.
I gladly do so. I told you about my label, Peppermint Jam, which we founded in '93. So it's, let me calculate, it's like 27, 28 years old.
Yeah.
Great label. And what we did with the label, we always wanted to combine, obviously, German talent with the people that we admired and we loved. So our first release was like something from Kerry Chandler, I think, on the label, Eddie Perez from Smack Records, and so on. But we had like German people as well, like German great artists like Mellow Man, for instance. We just re-released 2 EPs of his. Boris Dlugosch, who I met back then, and amazing DJ. And so we had like a little crew, it was really cool. It was like, we had like Boris, Michi Lange, Levent Ken 7, Maddie Heilbronn, and so on. And obviously those, the label grew and those guys grew as well. And I grew as well. So, we got bigger and bigger, did like great releases. I mean, some of the stuff that you had, like Byron Stingley was on our label and so on. And at one point we were getting a lot of remix requests. We were like, for myself, for Boris, for the whole crew. And Boris at one point, he basically, he heard this record from Moloko, Sing It Back, which was basically a great song, but almost like without any proper beat behind it. It was just like a vibe.
Yeah.
And he called up the label and said like, look, this is amazing. Can I have the parts? I want to remix it. And then we told him like, look, Boris, that's cool that you love it, but you shouldn't do that in terms of like business, just like, it's probably not so cool if you call up the label, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, he did it. And then we had this like amazing guitarist and bass players in our camp. So we got those folks and did the beautiful mix that we all know now, the big version of Sing It Back, which was amazing. And the English label didn't release the mix. So what we did back then is that, all right, no problem, but we will license that record. So we licensed Sing It Back for Peppermint Jam Records. And we released it for the whole of Europe, put that mix on, and then the whole thing blew up. And then obviously me having that song on my label, I said like, look, I have to do a mix as well on my own. And then, and then I did like 2 mixes. Actually, one is unreleased. I may drop it somewhere, but this mix, I just felt it, with the whole Giorgio Moroder, I See Love vibe, it just worked for me, with the beautiful vocal of Roisin Murphy. So yeah, that is the story. It has something to do with our label that, I'm very proud of because it kind of helped to make the song big as well.
Man, 100%. And that is, I mean, and that's something that I loved. Your beats, for example, at that time, you could tell there was just like, you could hear a 2-second beat from you and it was you.
Oh, cool.
Because you had such a signature sound on it.
Thank you.
And that's something that is, I mean, look, Kurt is watching as well. Kurt Maverick is
Hey,
watching
dude.
as well. So and we've
The
always
Turkish fellas.
the Turkish fellas are here, yeah, exactly. So and we've actually him and me we started nearly at the same time. I started I think a couple of years earlier, but we were actually playing in rival clubs. One in Dortmund, where he played at the Bungalow, and I played at one that was called Flamingo Club in Essen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You played Essen, I think as well.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And that's actually the time.
It was small, right? It was a small club, right?
Well, it was downstairs, you know, it was
Yeah,
downstairs,
yeah.
and it wasn't so small, I have to
Okay.
admit, you know. But I'm if you would tell me, Eddie, you've played in that club once, I said, yeah, maybe, you know. So, but I still remember, you know, I still remember all of these times, and one of your records have always been. I mean, these have been peak time records. All of these records that you have done, you could easily play them at the peak time of the night.
Cool,
You know?
very cool.
Yeah, that was yeah. You see, and honestly, you had one record that has been. I think that I think I have 2 or 3 records of these. You know,
Okay.
because I played them to death, and that was actually a track that you've done with Kenny Williams, Saturday.
Oh, cool, very cool. Yeah.
So that is this one.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the Cuddy Williams Saturday record. If guys, if you don't know this, this is an absolute weapon. You know why? Because you just start with a beat without like a proper kick underneath it, and then you have this LFO filter thing going on, you know? and you start building them up a little bit, and then you just start with the whole track, you know, from one substitute to the other. You just start with that huge bass line in there, and that was an absolute icebreaker on the floor.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, with our label, obviously we loved our house music, but we released a lot of, you know, like really cool albums on the label as well. And Kenny Williams was one of them. He's like this 2 meter 10 basketball player with a very white vocal, and we did an amazing album for him, you know, called Star Hotel. It really blew up big, and it was huge in France and everything.
Yeah.
And then basically, as you can hear, I'm not sure, you want to check again, Eddie, which year was that? Was it like 97 too, or 96 or something?
Let me just check real quick. It doesn't say anything actually.
Yeah, I think it should be like 96, 97, and then, or probably, yeah, 97, and then you can feel that it's already in that kind of like Daft Punky kind of vibe. So we were all already kind of like, you know, vibing off that sound, but it was really cool, you know. It was, you know, it's just like, you know, if you have such a great vocal, then the track can be really rough, you know, and then everything is cool.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody knows that you're the king of bass lines.
I wish.
Yeah. So like bass lines, it's all about bass lines, and what every Sunday you are posting stuff out of your studio, which I absolutely love. And I told you already when we got on the phone that this always is so motivating, because you can it's putting a smile on my face every time I see you just grooving to the stuff that you've been doing, you know, and then you're really feeling it, you know, and that brings the energy over to a lot of people that are watching that, and that is something that is really, really cool. And you're doing it now. So for how long have you been doing it? Was it just the fun thing that you started off with, and then you just kept
I mean, obviously, if you're on social media, you know, at one point, you know, you're like fed up of posting coffee pictures or like food pictures, or, you know, like stuff where you go like, okay, everybody's posting that, so I rather post something which I really enjoy myself, and give the people insight on stuff that I'm working on, you know, but still like in a kind of very kind of, look guys, you heard it first on my account. And and then, you know, obviously, you know, I probably, since you said it anyway, but I probably I really want to start learning the bass, because, you know, it's like, I mean, that's probably my most favorite instrument.
Oh yes.
And the most vital element of a track, whether it's house, whether it's pop, whatever, you know, without the bass, you know, you're lost. So, you know, and I love posting these. Yeah, and for me, my bass lines, are all, most of the time it's live bass, but that I play again on my keyboards and everything. And I try to come up with my own original bass lines, which is fun. So
That's absolutely brilliant, you know. So I really love that, and I mean the bass is what our music lives off as well, you know.
definitely, yeah.
And that's giving it the beef to the gut, you know.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you can actually make amazing tracks with just a small snippet of bass line, you
Of
know.
course, of course. Yeah.
So I think what I also think everybody who's watching, so we are actually now having Musti in the chat to all the people who are just tuning in. So Musti is in the chat, and we've been talking about his career, the records. I've showed him the love from my record collection already, and now we're talking about that. I think it's it's important to have people to look up to in the business, especially in your career. You need to have people where you say, "This guy is my absolute favorite artist, my favorite producer," and you don't even need to listen to those records. You just know that that is quality stuff, and you will play it to death, you know. And I had that with the Peppermint Jam records, with the Boris and Mickey records as well. And I think that that is something important, that you have someone that is giving you some sort of a, yeah, an indirect mentor vibe. You know what I mean? Although you've never been in contact with that person, we've always ran into each other on airports.
True. Yeah.
So always on airports. That's where
Mm.
we met each other, and we just had like very brief conversations, you know. But we've seen each other and always said hello, you know. So
Yeah,
that,
it was always a good vibe, right? Yeah.
yeah, that's true. And I think for people who are starting out, they need to have someone to look up to as well. Don't you agree?
Um, I do. You have to basically. I think there's like um, two ideas about that, because it's obviously you have to stay very true to yourself, which is very important for an artist. You have to be very kind of like, even if you do, if your art is so far away from the mainstream, I think it's always amazing that you stick to what you really feel. But if you look up to people, first of all, if you say like, look, this could be a goal to at one day maybe, be as good or do the same beats as the guy or whatever. And if we speak about music right now, for instance, at the beginning, if you start, I think there's nothing wrong. In fact, I would suggest everybody, if you start, to copy your idols, to say like, look, if you love my beats, just try to do it the same as I do, to kind of like, to find out, hey, okay, that's how he does it. And then you kind of like, develop your own path. But again, I think the good thing, I mean, is I always say this is only music that we do. So, there's nothing, it's no problem if you meet like, people where you go like, oh my God, he's my idol, whatever, go up to them, speak to them, that's great. And I was very lucky because I worked with some really big people, but I was always lucky that they were so cool and so down to earth, which gave me a lot of motivation, because, it could be, obviously, sometimes you meet people, they're assholes. And then you go like, oh, okay, is that how the business works? I don't know. But, I work with, I work with huge people, and obviously two of the examples are always named proudly is like Bootsy Collins. I did like 2 albums with the guy. One of the most prestigious bass players, and he played for James Brown, obviously member of Funkadelic and Parliament. Just did a record with Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, amazing guy. And he's the most lovely guy ever, a huge guy.
I can imagine that.
Amazing guy. And obviously the second example I have to drop is Tom Jones. We work together. Yeah, Mr. SEXBOMB. We work together, and you meet the guy, and he's like, he tells you stories when he was touring with Elvis, and you go like, oh my God, that's how huge the guy is. And then and he's so nice, down to earth. He would sit here next to us, have a sip of his favorite whiskey, and be cool. There's no, he's seen it all, and I love that, and that's like for young aspiring producers. I think that's the biggest motivation you can get, where you go like, oh my God, they're huge, and they're sitting here with me, and okay, cool. There's great people around, so I want to continue do what I do. Yeah. So, you know.
That's really important. That is because imagine uh, you will never forget that feeling when you met that person the first time, like Tom Jones or Bootsy Collins. When you met them the first time, I'm pretty sure that you shit your pants a little bit.
Um,
You've
I
been
mean, definitely I had respect, but the good thing is because I worked with so many. I mean, even before Horny, when I had my first success as an artist,
yeah.
I was already used working with people as a producer in the studio. So I did a lot of albums and stuff. So I was getting experience, And as a producer, you still can be a fan, if you meet great people, if you work, can be a fan, but as a producer, you have to be this kind of, sometimes you have to be the strong entity in the studio, because especially singers, they're very insecure sometimes, and they either play around with you, or they're kind of very shy or something. You have to be a very psychologically very experienced in the studio. So I had to kind of like learn that. So I was pretty cool when I met these guys. But obviously you're like, oh my God, I'm here with the dude, So that's great.
Yeah, that's the. I think that's very motivational, and that is bringing you a lot of energy to move on, and that you're doing the right. You're doing it. You're doing what you always wanted to do. And that is that is amazing. And there's so much history. How often do you think about these times, about the years we spent already doing this whole thing? Do you think about that often?
I mean, not anymore. I must admit that at one point, which was a couple of years ago, obviously you kind of, as I just said, you have this experience, you kind of, I wouldn't say it's like you got used to everything. It's like almost a habit or something. But at the very beginning, I loved the naivety that I have, and the kind of like the playfulness that I kind of like, did my beats and everything. And at one point you kind of like, I wouldn't say it's like a formula you do your music, but I wanted to go back to that. And that was like probably 5 years ago or something. So I was thinking back, but no, I mean, I'm a very forward looking person. It's I love and I stand behind everything what I did in the past, but I'm always looking forward. So that's my main concern.
So now that we're talking about forward, what's up next?
Up next, yeah, obviously more music every day. I mean, this whole current situation right now has a very good side effect that basically, as an artist, obviously we can't go out and play, but what we can do is go in the studio every day, and let our creativity flow, which I have been doing like for over a year now, which is amazing. So I did a lot of work for other people, a lot of remixes, a lot of tracks which will come out on my label Peppermint Jam. I did some great remixes for Defected and Glitterbox. Like what did I do? Horse Meat Disco, Love If You Need It, which will be released this month. I did a great remix for Flight Facilities featuring Channel Tres, which will come out pretty soon, I guess. And there's a couple of very cool things I've been working on. And I'm doing this amazing track on my own with Casey Sledge from the Sister Sledge.
Really?
Which, yeah, I think it's a very big song. It's very close to my heart. I've been working on it for like on and off, for 2 years. And we recorded it together in London. And I think it's so beautiful, man. It's really nice. It's really nice.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. It seems like you are in full swing of your inspiration at the moment.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
And that is absolutely great to hear, because a lot of people don't have a lot of inspiration out there. Is there anything? Is there any sort? Because that's also what I want to
Oh,
know.
the Reflex, Nicolas. Ça va, mon ami? Ça va?
So, is there? Do you have some sort of daily routine?
Drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
For sure.
it's good anyway.
Definitely, it's good for your ears, for everything. You know, when you stop drinking water, you're in shit. You know, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Daily routine. I mean, right now, obviously, you know, it's the good thing is, you know, since I mean, my structure, you know, I'm self-employed, so you know, I'm a, you know, how can you say entrepreneur? You know, I have my label and everything, but I don't have to get up 7 in the morning or 8, so you know, I can sleep in if I want to, but then you know, have like a really nice coffee in the morning. You know, probably do some workout, have a great breakfast with my girlfriend, and then slowly go into the studio. You know, do a couple of hours work. Sometimes it's like 3 4 hours, sometimes like 7 8 hours, and make sure that or I make sure definitely that I kind of take care of my brain these days, you know, which can be great movies, it can be great books, it can be great conversations like we have. You know, you have to train your brain every day, and that's I think yeah, that's a big part of my routine.
Essential.
Yes.
That's super essential. That is really, really good that you're saying this because a lot of people that are actually striving for getting the artist that they want to be, they just put everything on one card, which is like working, 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 working. You know, just like putting everything in there. Also, if it's just a frustrating period of time, they keep working. So, is what are the tips that you can say to people that are in their in their box, just like running without looking left and right? I mean, it's good to be motivated, but at some point, I think it's you need to have some sort of balance kind of thing. Is there anything what you can say to the people?
Well, I mean, it's only my experience, and as we just found out, you know, it's very kind of individual. You know, what kind of like, you know, what is cool for people, what not. Because I used to be like that as well. When I was like, I mean, I don't want to sound old, but like, you know, 25 years ago, I was running. I was like this. I didn't care what was happening left and right because I could do it. For me, you know, you know, I didn't need a lot of sleep. You know, like two days in the studio without sleeping. You know, doing my stuff. I was loving it. You know, and I was living it. It was just like, you know, it was amazing, but you can't do it forever. And I don't know if it's a really good example to mention here, but then you have like people that we really admire and colleagues of us like Avicii, you know, a very young aspiring amazing talent, you know. And the whole thing was just like probably too much for him, you know. And that's a shame, you know. And at one point we kind of have to see that although music is everything we want to do, or our art, or whatever we love, but there is actually a life next to music, you know. So which is I mean, obviously now I really experience, because I'm a very kind of people's person, so I really miss being with people. But that, for instance, you know, is something that you should take your time. You should take your time for, you know, and you know, just like to really enjoy stuff, enjoy a great meal, enjoy conversations, enjoy a good book, a good movie. You know, really take care of your brain, man.
Yeah. Are you a mindset person?
A mindset person.
Yeah.
Um,
Like raising awareness, being aware of the things that you're doing.
I'm getting more and more aware that put it that way. You know, I mean, it's like stuff that you do, that you learn, you know, that you take on board on the journey. You know, that's really great. But I think um, um, saying that, you know, I am a mindset person, but you know, I allow my mindset to kind of like to go with the flow as well. You know, I mean, I'm not like, you know, in a box.
Yeah, that's good. I'm just asking these kind of things because, as I said at the beginning, I've had these experiences where my mind wasn't in a very good place, and then my body wasn't in a good place, and then also my career wasn't in a very
It's a
good.
direct connection. It's a direct connection.
Dude, I can tell you, this is like I've been through the shithole and back again over the decades, you know. So it's just, but I'm happy that I made those mistakes because they taught me the lesson to not make those mistakes again, you know. So
Yeah, definitely.
and that's also something um, that that people always. How's the best explanation? We have a saying in Germany: if the glass is, it can be half full and it can be half empty, right? So and that's that's what a lot of people always say is, oh shit, the glass is nearly empty.
Mm.
Well, whereas on the other side, you could also say, well, look, you still have the half glass. It's amazing.
It's always a matter of perspective. Yeah, I mean, basically you can do that with almost everything. Yeah. Mm.
And that's something that you should keep in mind as well. Not everything, especially when things are not exactly going where you want it to go. There's always something to hold on to that is going to, that it's going to turn around at some point.
Definitely, definitely.
So I mean, you probably had bad experiences in your life in this business and in your career. It's all been being self-employed in the music business. Be prepared. It's a roller coaster. It's never. If you want to play it safe, you get a 9 to 5 job. But if
but Eddie, to be honest, it's being self-employed in any business is hard.
Yeah, that's true.
In any, so I mean, for me again, it's like, I mean, the good thing is like sometimes we used to do like internships for people here and all that stuff. And when their parents came, I was like, look, guys, this is like a proper company. This is not like long-haired people being in the studio in like dirty rooms, having a blunt every day. You know what I mean? It's, obviously it can be, but this is a regular company. We do have bookkeeping, we do have management, we do have this, we have, all that stuff. So whatever we say, self-employment, I have a lot of respect for self-employed people because they say at one point, like, look, I'm strong enough. I want to do what I feel, I don't want to, I only want to work for myself and all that. It's beautiful. But obviously the risk is bigger, but the possibilities are bigger too.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. That's true. And that's what I'm saying is, it's especially in this music business. It can, like you said, it can be up and downs. If you're self-employed, it can be up and down as well. But it can be in this music business, you can have such an amazing success from one day to another, right? So, and it's especially that's because you just said Avicii before. I think the success that he had, it was a success that came pretty rapidly.
I don't think so. I don't think so, Eddie. There's this. He was young, but he started very early on doing this stuff. And there's this big, beautiful saying. It says, "I became successful overnight, and it took me 20 years."
Okay. Yeah. Well, he was. Well, when he did Bromance, I remember that. Bromance was big thing, the first big thing that he did. I remember that I was playing on the subliminal parties with Eric at Pasha, where he had his subliminal nights, and he came in the DJ booth, just like very excited, just super shy. I think he was 17 at that age.
Exactly.
That's why he had Bromance, and then he was like with all these people. I think his best crew was like Norman Doré, Arno Kos. You remember those guys as well, So it's just like the Frenchy group
right
together with him. That was
but he was just like that guy. He was just like, am I right here? Am I doing the right things and stuff? So he was very, very, very shy.
But I'm sure he still started like a couple of years before, and then it's like, I mean, what I want to say. Obviously, you don't need to be 20 years in the business, but this overnight thing, it always takes some time to be where you are.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and don't be fooled by this. Oh man, I never heard of him and now he's big, that was fast, never. It always takes a lot of time, whether it's 1 year or 10 years, it's a lot of time.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it can, well, how can I say it? Well, it can take a lot of years. For me, it was also when I started DJing with in 93. I was 15. Then I had my first DJ gig.
Nice.
And that was in Tribe House in Neuss.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Because I won a DJ contest then.
Okay, cool.
And then they had these power days. You probably remember them.
And Eric was still in charge, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was the one who opened the whole thing.
Okay, cool.
Every time, which was like for me, I didn't give a shit. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning so I could be there at 5 o'clock. I was standing there ready to go. And then at the end of my set, 10 people were there. But that doesn't matter, you know. It's just like, you know, that was my stepping stone, you know. And a lot of times you can't get success. Just you can't expect to have success from one day to another, like from doing a record and then yet boom, you are touring the globe. You know, there's a lot of small things you have to do, things that you probably don't like to do, and shows you don't have like to do. I've done like a lot of shows that weren't the greatest shows, but at some point you had to start with something.
Yeah, and it's always experience. I mean, to be honest, it's at the beginning, you know, every experience. Obviously, if you have somebody, if you can avoid mistakes, it's beautiful. So for that reason, you can always ask people who have been there and say, like, look, what do you think? But to be honest, experience is priceless. You know, it's really, really good. But fast forward, if you have been in the game for a long time, for instance, like we have been. I mean, my goal now, or my ideas, like after this time, for instance, I don't want to do shitty gigs anymore, which means for me,
Of course.
which means for me, it's nothing about the money, got nothing to do with the money, whatever, you know. It's just like something where I know, look, just I want to go somewhere where I know that the people, you know, I can bring something to the table where the people go like, wow, beautiful evening, and can take something home from the people as well. That is my goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the great thing. You could rather do like 30 absolutely amazing gigs in a year than 200 gigs where you're just like destroying yourself as well.
Yeah, exactly. Which yeah, but again, you know, at the beginning, sometimes, I mean, I know when David Guetta at one point, when he decided to become a big act, you know, he was very, very analytic and strategic about it, which I really respect, because he said, like, look, you know, what do I need to do apart from obviously having the right music? He said, like, you know, I need to be in people's faces, you know. So he said, like, look, I'm touring. You got a great agency, and he was touring the UK for like, I don't know, £500 a night, you know.
Yeah.
But he was clever about it, because he said, like, I need to do that donkey work before, you know, to take it to the next level.
100%. But
You know.
now, like you said, you are at that point. You've done it all. You've seen it all, and the shows that you're doing, you just want to do the shows where you can really enjoy yourself as well, right?
Yeah, but it has to be like a win-win situation, because obviously I want to have the best time of my life, but you are actually doing a job. So, you know, it's basically you have to teach the people and giving them a good time at the same point, and take some love back for yourself.
That's super important. And I really love it that you are very down to earth with all the success you've had. Um, and that is not always the case. You know, that when you talk to people that have been doing a lot of things in their lives and have worked with a lot of great people in their lives, not everyone is like that. I can tell you that. So, and I really admire that you're just so open and giving a lot of very golden advice to everyone who's watching. You know,
Thank you. I mean, yeah, no, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. But it's again, you know, it's only my experience. I know there's always a lot of like different angles to everything.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
yeah. So, but what I always say is, and that's also something that I'm saying every time is, which is also why I love to have established artists that have
Have
been
been doing it for a long time.
It's the most valuable thing for young artists to have the
The
chance
chance to
to
tap into a mind of a person that has done it all.
You know, that's absolutely priceless. That's something money can't buy. If you like getting a mentor or having someone to just have a talk with people like you know, this what we've done here is just like a normal conversation between you and me, but this is golden for a lot of people.
yeah, no, definitely, and me myself, for instance, I'm taking a lot back for, you know, from our talk as well. But that said, sometimes, when you say like especially younger people, when they have the chance to speak to experienced guys, great, but don't underestimate, for instance, what I take back in when I speak to younger people.
Ooh, right.
You know what I mean? Because it's very, I mean, everything changes so much. I mean, I would love to play you the Casey Sledge record I'm doing, because you would feel all the soul, the funk, all the old virtues basically. But and younger people would probably go like, oh my God, and how did you do that? But then back, or basically right back at them, I'm interested how they would do it nowadays. You know what I mean? Because everything changes. Everything is like in a flow. So
And that's the old learn from the young and other way around. And I think
exactly.
that's also the key to success if you want to.
Yes.
Keep
on a high steady. You have to get like fusion. That's like the most.
Yes. So surround yourself with young and talented people. And people you actually like.
That's true.
That can help.
That's right, and that's also why I like to collaborate with young and upcoming people. So I hear someone that has done amazing tracks. I'm just saying, why don't we just do something together? I love your work. This can just something great can come out of this.
Exactly. Exactly.
I would be very happy to do it, because it's like a very motivational thing for them as well. On the other hand,
you get something out of it because you are just
always at the tip of what's new.
Yeah, and chances are very good nowadays, because you can basically you can contact anybody on the social networks.
Yeah.
You could write Obama a mail. It's all possible. You know what I mean? It's all possible. Seriously.
That's true.
It took me some time to get in touch with you, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's because people that are not following you are not checking their their requests.
Yeah, their DMs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's
true.
That's why you say sometimes like, oh my God, totally missed that. It was a year ago.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, Mousse, you see, we already are 75 minutes in. We could go on for hours, but I think this is a great time to finish our Music Monday talk. And I have to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this together with me, and for spending your beautiful Monday evening here.
Thanks for having me. It was a big pleasure, and it was great to see all you folks, from Italy, from England, from France, from Turkey, from Germany, obviously.
Yes. And now the people also know why we're doing this in English, because the people are from all over the world, actually.
Exactly.
So and I would just say, next time I come by Hanover, I'll just give you a call.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
I'll come back for coffee then.
Yes, anytime.
Okay, Mousse, thank you so much. And people, thank you for tuning in, and have a wonderful Monday evening, the last couple of hours of
Easter.
Yeah, exactly.
Mousse, do you want to add something?
Well, I mean, thanks for your interest. Thanks for your attention. For this beautiful talk. I'm really sorry that we couldn't answer your questions, but hopefully it was rewarding for you guys. And if I can just drop real fast, because this was basically more like a kind of like a motivational, like a kind of brainy kind of talk.
Yes.
And if you're up for it, whoever is, especially you aspiring producers out there, I'm going to have a Twitch talk tomorrow at I think it's 2 o'clock or the 2 o'clock, no, 3 o'clock German time for Defected. So, and then I will show you 1 hour how I did my remix for the House Mid Disco. So that's actually going to be a production tutorial. Whoever is interested.
I'll be there.
Please.
I'll be, man, you can count on me.
I want to feel your love. I want to feel your love.
No, well, actually, so go on Twitch. What was it? Twitch tomorrow, 2 p.m. CET, right?
Yes, it's CET. Is it 3? I mean, you'll find out. So it's like the Defected Twitch channel, and I'll be nerding out completely.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be amazing. Okay, Mousse, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a super evening. Night night.
Bye-bye.
Night night.